All right, all right, all right. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Typically, we're on for the 8 o'clock hour, but it is just a wee bit early. And I figured with the technical issues that we had last time, I wanted to make sure that got in a little bit early and got here ready to go, ready to talk. Make sure that the comms are good. So if I'm in here and you can see it and you can hear it, let me know in the chat. We have the chat feature open. Big shout out to the team. Becca's the best. Janelle, Brian, and of course, Mr. Anderson and my main man, the Lotto legend, Ethan. So I love these sessions because I never know what's coming, but I do have a plan. That's always the thing. Yeah. Even if you don't know what's coming, you got to have a plan. So I do have people kind of submit questions ahead of time. And I love to be able to answer those questions. So that's the plan. And heck, I might even bring in some charts if you guys want some charts. We can work all the way through it. But glad to be here. Got in late last night. Flew in from Philly. Boy, my arms are tired. Sorry. From time to time, I'm just going to give you guys a random dad joke as well. I heard a good one when I was in Philly because it had just got done snowing. How do you know that Will Smith was in your yard? How do you know that Will Smith was in your yard? Fresh Prince. I love that joke. Oh man, I got too much time, too much fun with that joke, but I'm loving it. We got Nate. What's up? We can see and hear you. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate that, Becca. You're the best, and I am grateful. So, all right, I'm going to let a few more folks filter in, work their way in before we dive into some of these questions we got. But again, for those who maybe subscribe to stuff I do, the different trading services and whatnot, I allow those folks to put questions up there, to where they have questions they can answer, they want me to talk about or want me to show, and I'll do that. I'm also open to talking questions about life or, investing, money, whatever. I even got a dad joke for you, like I showed you from time to time. All right, we got some other folks in the chat. Billy Gibbs, what's up? What dibs are we buying tomorrow once we get bad data? Kind of expect it seems like maybe. Billy, here's what I know about the market. We don't tell the market. Market tells us. And whatever opportunity gives, that's what we take. What's up, Connie? Lisa, bonjour. Voyaging, Terry Williams up in the hizzy. We got Marty, ready, willing, and able. All right. Christian Community Connect. What's up? I love that. Brian Jefferson, my man, 50 grand in the house. Good to see you. Jerry, Terry, Christopher, Claycomb, what's up? AZ, Raquel, basketball, love it. Racquetball, there it is. I saw basketball because I'm a basketball player. That's what when I see it, my eyes tend to visualize, but that's not what it is. Racquetball, love it. I'm a racquetball fan. The hoof trimmer, love it. Good. What's up? All right. So we got a good amount of folks in here, up to 52. Ben, how are you? Doing well. A little tired. Flew in late last night from a basketball tournament with my son in Philly. And, still catching up. Are you guys like that? Where you guys like catch up on your sleep on the weekends? Like I don't get a lot of sleep during the week because I'm, getting up early and working out and doing all this other stuff. But I try to catch up on the weekends. And then when I go travel on the weekends to things like my kids' basketball tournament, if I don't catch up on sleep, sleep deficit. That's a real thing. You guys didn't come here to talk about my sleep habits. Come here to talk about your questions. So number one, let's dive in. Who's ready? Are you guys, let me know in the chat. Are you ready to dive in some of these questions? In a second, I'll open it up to you. You can ask whatever you want. But I do have some pre-written questions from some folks that I want to be able to talk about. Okay. Yes, let's do it. All right. John and Oman, why does smart money enter at large scale, but we wait for confirmation above a technical level? Great question. Short answer, because there is one truth in the market and one truth only. And they say, they say about the truth can hurt. Or they can say, know the truth and the truth shall set you free, right? But if one thing is only true in the market and price is that truth, well, then here's the thing about the smart money. All we have is pieces of data. And obviously some data matters more than other data, but nothing is a silver bullet. Nothing works all the time in the market. I personally like to either one with the smart money. And for those who aren't in my Omen service, where we look at smart money option trades in the market to dictate higher probability and higher outcome trade ideas. What I like to do is I like to wait for price to confirm what smart money was doing. Because if smart money puts out a trade, here's the thing. It could be part of a hedge, could be part of a strategy, could be part of, a multi-order, could be part of a lot of things. But if we see an order that makes it appear as if smart money is looking to go long on something, then we don't know until price confirms that, which is why you could also buy it on a pullback. But if you do that, you got to make sure you do it at the right level, and then you manage your risk really well. That's question one. Does the smart money just take larger gambles no matter the technicals? Here's what I would say I've come to learn about the smart money. They're not degenerates. They're not gamblers. This is Wall Street we're talking about here. These are folks that make money for a living profession. Now, I'm not saying they're not perfect, they're imperfect, or everything they do works all the time. What I am saying is that we just don't have the full picture. And so, there's a lot of things. It might be a technical setup that they like. It might be the fact that they're going to run the price higher because they're an institution and their large buying program can do that. And so they're about ready to initiate that program. So they're also going to, take that position in the options market so that when they can push up the price of the stock, they can also get that return on the options. We just never know. It's data, but it's not like crystal clear data, right? And so I'll give you a bad analogy, but like I speak, as you guys know, I speak a little bit of Spanish, un poquito. And so I like to practice my Spanish, and I'm much better at knowing what to say in Spanish than I am at understanding everything that native Spanish speakers say to me. And so, I got these guys I work with, these Cuban guys that are great, Eddie and Raudel and Ayan, and they'll speak to me in Spanish. And Cubans, like Americans, have different accents in Spanish. And so that said, they'll say things, and I think I know what they're saying, but I kind of say something back to confirm it, or I kind of wait to see their actions. They're pointing to something. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right, that we are talking about what I thought we were talking about. And that's me just waiting for the confirmation. Process of buying and selling a put. Okay, we can talk about that. All right, that's John and Omen. I hope I answered your question. Next question. When a stock is listed as a watch on Tuesday and doesn't reach the requirement that day, is it automatically removed, or does one carry it forward to the next? And if so, how long? The answer to that question, Protz49 and Omen, is yes. Yes. Oftentimes, you can see a trade in smart money go off on a Monday and it not immediately respond, right? But you guys know my process. I will put in my alert for that price level that I'm looking for it to break. And that might hit days later, weeks later, right? And so you don't take it off. You keep it on until either it expires or the price level hits. Good question. Second question. Since the alerts are usually posted till about 30 minutes before the opening, is any stock price in pre-market to be disregarded? No, you don't disregard it. You just can't trade it in options because those don't open until 9:30. So you don't disregard it. But here's the thing. If the price level I'm looking at breaks in pre-market, I'm usually waiting for it to come back to test that level for support during option hours between 9:30 and 4. Good question. Okay. Here's the question I got to ask you guys. Let me know in chat. Only because this weekend, the friends I stayed with up in Philly, big breakfast people. I'm a big breakfast guy. I love breakfast. Here's a random question I want to ask you guys to get to know you guys better. Are you pancake people or are you waffle people? Pancake people or waffle people? Let me know in the chat. I want to know about you guys because I had that dilemma on Saturday morning. I'm sitting here looking at these pancakes. I'm sitting here looking at the waffles. And I got this choice to make because I'm not going to eat a lot of carbs. And let's see, we got both, neither, pancakes, waffles. Okay. Oh, look at Damien coming in with the dark horse, French toast. Damien, that wasn't an option for me. If I had to choose those three, I'm going French toast. Check this out. French toast, put butter on it, put peanut butter over the butter, and then put maple syrup on it. You're going to thank me tomorrow. I'm telling you. French toast. Yes, sir. Pancakes are good. If I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna go French toast, waffles, pancakes. Now, depends what type of pancakes we're talking about here, right? If you want to, like a hearty whole grain pancake with some like fruit in it, maybe some like walnuts. Oh my gosh, I'm salivating here. Now I'm getting hungry. Now I want to eat breakfast tomorrow. Look at part of what was it? Paris Thorpe. Of course, your name is Paris Thorpe coming in with the crepes. Now, I don't consider crepes like on par for breakfast, like French toast pan. Maybe I should. I mean, it's all the same thing, right? It's kind of like the difference between cupcakes and muffins with frosting. Pretty much same thing, right? But good call. Some crepes. What is the go-to cover of crepes? What is your topping of choice? Now, then we're gonna get back to trading. I just like these fun questions from time to time. Howard knows. He knows my crepes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you. When I played basketball overseas, my wife and I would go to Paris every chance we get because it is the city of lovers. And we were newly married, maybe married a couple years. So we went there for Christmas, for any chance we got, went to Paris. And our favorite thing to do was go to the Champs-Élysées, get like a cafe and get a crepe with the Nutella and almonds on top. Oh my gosh. So good. You can tell I love food. All right. Back to it, my friends. Here we go. Terry W. Terry W. I see you, Terry W. Shout out. He said, my wife is a substitute teacher and said something about trading in class. Now I have a group of high school students that are curious about investing and crypto. I want to lead them correctly, especially starting out, as this is one thing I want to do to give back to the community so they won't be ignorant on how things work like I was, but can have a path to knowledge. Oh my gosh. First off, Terry, love your heart. Number two, I think that, I was so grateful that I learned about money and I learned about investing and trading at 15. Like, I would not be where I'm at today if I didn't get that education early, and they just weren't teaching it in schools. I remember going in, asking my teacher, do you know what EBITDA is? She's like, what? What? Is that like a song you kids are listening to these days? No, like not a lot of financial knowledge. And I'm not knocking them, right? It was a history teacher, math teacher, whatever. But that said, right? That said, I love that you want to do this, Terry. And I would say this: investing and crypto are the same thing, but really, really not. Here's the one thing. If you want to lead this, here's the one piece of kind of input I would give you. Now, I want to say this up front, friends. I'm an educator. It's not financial advice. Do your own research, right? None of these things are buy recommendations or anything. You do it for you. I'm just telling you what I know, what I learned, what I think. What I would tell you is that if you're going to help these kids, help them, with investing, tell them, one, start early, right? Two, right, be consistent, right? It's a consistent mindset of putting money aside, right, for investing. Pay yourself first, okay? And if you do that consistently, right, then that is great. And I would just say for most kids, I tell them to just start off by buying the market itself, like the SPY or the QQQ is a great way to just start, have a foundation, and kind of go from there, right? But as far as it goes with crypto and investing, I would say this. The best advice my mentors ever gave me was, if you like it and you use it, you understand how it makes money, then you want to own it. Like, I bought Nike in college because my basketball team was sponsored by Nike, and I love their stuff. I understand how they made money. I liked it. I used it. I understood it. And this thing has done really well. Right. And so same with, like, when I bought Amazon, when my second son was born, we had a subscription to Amazon Mom, delivered cheap diapers to my front doorstep on the regular. And it changed the size as he grew. Genius. I liked it, used it, understood how they made money. Right. So I want to own it. As far as that goes with crypto, why do I hold Bitcoin, multiple Bitcoin? Why do I hold a lot of Ethereum? Because this is the technology that our future is going to be built on, because it solves a problem. Bitcoin specifically, with debasement of currency and printing of dollars. Read the white paper by Satoshi, written in, I think it was 2008, 2009. Or number two, right? When you look at Ethereum, these are the rails, right? It's like the operating system that future assets are going to be tokenized on. And I understand how it solves a problem. I see its value, and with gas fees, I understand how it makes money. And so but keep in mind, investment is all about long-term time horizon. Kids in high school have a hard time with that, right? Let me know in the chat. How many of you guys struggle with that idea of like, oh, I'm gonna do this thing that's gonna pay off in 15 years? I mean, a lot of traders struggle with that because they want that instant gratification. Make the trade, make the money, let's go, right? But Warren Buffett, talks to us about this: temperament, patience. The market is patient people taking money from impatient people. Anybody here in the chat struggle with that, with patience and like letting things work out, paying your future self? So, I tell my wife, our crypto investment is a 15-year time horizon. Think about that. 2040. I'm going to be 59. All right. Before I think that stuff really, really, really takes. And so I use trading profits to continue to buy crypto because I believe in its long-term solving of problems, and that the problems we have are real and they're here to stay and they're going to keep getting worse. And I do my due diligence, my research, understand how it works. And so Ethereum, for example, is a layer one that a lot of layer twos are built on. Just think about it like an operating system for your Android or your, iPhone. And there's gonna be a lot of applications built on this that will help us, solve problems in the future. I'll give you one quick example, and then I'll move on to the next question. For example, my wife and I, we built a house. We built a house 3 years ago, brand new house. Before it was dirt, now it's a house. And we had to pay to do a title search, old system, to figure out who, if anybody, owned this before us. I'm here to tell you, nobody did, because I watched it go up, right? Like phase by phase. And yet I had to pay thousands of dollars to do a title search, make sure nobody else owned the house that I built. Crazy. But with crypto, there's this thing called chain of custody. And so if my house, the title of my house can be tokenized, put on the chain, we can search like that for pennies to see who owned it before me, and now I own it. And then once I sell it, the token goes from my possession to the next person or to the bank that gives them the mortgage, right? And that's an old system being replaced by a new system that needs to happen, because that's a stupid thing to pay money for, and this technology will fix it. But again, I think 15-year time horizon. All right. Getting a lot of other questions here. I will get to you guys questions. I promise. We got a whole hour here together. I just want to answer some of the questions of people who asked them beforehand. Joe in Oman. Joe, you're welcome, Terry Williams. Kudos to you for doing that. Good luck in doing that. Love to be able to help you. I'm building a curriculum actually for high school students to do that very thing. Okay, Joe in Oman. I'm watching the VIX and the SPY. Almost 100% what industry is less impacted or dictated by VIX and SPY? Walmart? First off, everything is impacted by the VIX. Everything. Now, for anyone who don't know, the VIX is the fear index. And as fear rises, it's going to impact the market. But when people are more fearful, they tend to go to things that are more stable. And in your opinion, to the chat, here's a chat question. Would you consider Walmart a stable company? It's here today. It's probably going to be here tomorrow. And whether, we got a good economy, bad economy, tariffs, no tariffs, no matter what's happening, rates, no rates, whatever narrative is out there, Walmart's probably still going to do all right. Yeah. So Walmart, I think, is likely to do better if VIX is rising or running. Where if there's little fear in the market, people tend to speculate. They tend to get a little bit more, hey, why not? Maybe this, maybe that, right? And so I wouldn't say that anything isn't affected by the VIX, but 80% of names run with the SPY, right? Whatever the market's doing, they're likely to do, they're going to take it with them. Okay, good question. All right. I only got a couple more here, and then I'm going to get to your questions in the chat, and I'm going to have Becca pull out some of the good ones and bring them to my attention, show Adam. All right. Paul and Omen has a joke. Oh, here's a good one. Dad joke. You guys ready? I'm excited. Did you hear the joke about the ceiling? No? Well, it's over your head. That's good. I like that. All right. Here's a question. Do wicks count for breaking resistance? No, they don't. And is a price point, whether coming up or going down, stop losses, an immutable red line, or rather a flexible, malleable number close to the stated target loss? I'm going to read this again, just to make sure. Is a price point, let's say a price, I think he's saying like a price level, like 75, whether coming up or going down, for stop losses or profit targets, breaking trend lines, an immutable red line, or rather flexible, malleable number close to the stated target. Well, here's what I do. Good question. Here's what I'd say. Number one, on the way up, it is a red line. If my target is 75, then my profit is sitting there ready to be taken out at 75 or just beforehand, right? I'm going to pay my money myself when I can, not when I have to, right? But if I'm looking for like a breakout, then it's not. It's a general area where I think it's going to get up, and generally there's two ways to play it on the upside and the downside. On the upside is, does it break it with force and volume and go, right? Am I seeing volume pick up behind it? Or is it kind of like just kind of, it's not like not showing intention and just kind of slowly, And so it's how it breaks it is one thing. And then the same on the downside, right? I don't always necessarily set this immutable line if it breaks that amount, because that could be a wick. Could be the bottom of the wick and just bam. And then I'll show you on Google here today what I'm talking about, right? That happened for me on Google here today. So yeah, on the downside, it's more of an area, right? More of an area that I look for. And then oftentimes, depending on the chart, I am watching for either a couple closes above or a couple closes below that level in order to really get confirmed that, okay, this thing's done. Good question. Can you tell me if you are buying the top versus a breakout? Can you tell me if you're buying the top? How can you tell if you're buying the top versus a breakout? What I just said to you, right? Either it breaks it with force, with volume behind it and buying or selling, or if it goes above it and then holds it, retests it and finds support. All right. Is it the ATRs? I like the ATRs, but the ATRs, if you guys know what ATR, it's the average true range. For me, once price goes to an average true range, the upside, I tend to try and take profit because the probability of it continuing to going is small. And if it comes to the downside on 3ATR, especially if it does that really quickly, I like to buy that area because the probability of it going much lower without bouncing is small as well. That's just a probability trade. How can you tell? Price will tell you by hanging around, by confirming it, or by moving through it strongly with volume and speed. I hope that answers your question. Yeah. Good. I'm glad that helps. Okay. 2 more questions. Then I'm going to get to your questions here in the chat. We got plenty of time, my friends. As you can tell my voice, I'm going to a little water here. All right. Alex in Oman says, how do you decide what time frame is best to look at for particular stocks when choosing certain plays? Great question. To do this, I'm actually going to show you a chart today that we made a trade on in Nike. I called out, and I'm going to show you the whole process, the whole kit and caboodle, to help you understand why I chose the time frame that I did. All right, so let's go to the 5-minute chart and let's go to Nike. I'm going to share my screen with you here in just a second. All right, give me a moment to get this thing situated. And I'm going to share the screen with you. And I want to get up the Scana. For some of you guys haven't seen the Scana, I want you to see the Scana. Talking to my Boston, my New England accent for you there. All right, let's bring the scanner up here. Can I get it? Can I get this thing? All right, here we go. Okay, good. I got the scanner, and I'll show you the Nike trade that came in today and why I chose the one that I did. All right, so let's do this. And let me share this screen with you. Okay. So you guys can see this now, right? See the screen? So these two trades came in, ask-ish for Nike, $69 calls. They bam, bam, hit right at the same time. Huge premium, like $1.6 million in these $69 calls when the stock was at 67.34. Huge size where there was no zero open interest. So again, this is just a snapshot. This just gives us an idea that someone is aggressively buying $1.6 million in Nike calls. And again, this sends me to the time frame. So your question specifically was about the time frame. How do you decide the time frame is best to look at the particular stocks when choosing the recent plays? Well, because these things are dated for this Friday, how many days is that? 4 days, 5 days. Short is short. All right. And so I'm not going to go on a daily chart because I'm looking for a short dated trade. So therefore, I'm going to go for a smaller time frame chart. All right. Which is why, and these things hit at 11 o'clock. So this is the daily chart in Nike. Let's go to the 5-minute chart in Nike. You can go 15 if you want to, right? But these things hit right about here, 11 o'clock. Okay. Now, they hit like, I'm sorry, excuse me. Let me erase that. Here's 11 o'clock, 11:10. What's 11:10? It's about right here. So I'll draw this line. Right about 11:10, right here. You see that right there? When they hit was 11:10. Okay. So when I look at that chart, I think to myself, all right, on the 5-minute chart, what is the setup? What's the setup on that chart? Anyone that knows anything about patterns will tell you we have a beautiful bull pendant setting up, right? Higher lows, there you goes. And we have a potential 3 times the lady breakout setting up right here, right? What's that? Once, twice, 3 times the lady. All right. So that played out. That's what happened. Okay. And this thing ran higher, shot up, and then bam, came back down. But guys, this red line, what did it come back down to and find support at? These are the questions you got to ask yourself. Always got to ask the question, did it do anything wrong? It's supposed to come back down to that red line. It's supposed to come back down to the 21 EMA. It did nothing wrong. And so at the 21 EMA, I'm buying more, right? I'm buying more. Why? Because my stop level is on a lower low right there. Did it make a lower low? No, right? So again, I'm willing to buy this, add to it because my risk is here and my potential reward is all the way back up to those recent highs right there. That's easily a 3-to-1 risk to reward. And yet it came back up, kept going and kept going. And then boom, right? Ultimately hit this level of the pre-market high, right here. Okay. So I hope that answers your question. That is why I went on the shorter dated time frame, because the chart itself was showing me these are, here, let me clean all this off. These are short dated trades. So I'm going to go with a short dated chart, right? Short dated trades for a short dated chart. Now, if there's a daily setup, right? Like let's say we go to this trade I like in Google on the daily, right? Here's Google. This again, just to point out, market loves to fill gaps. Where's the gap? The gap is right here. See that gap, that split? Okay, gap up, bam, gap to fill. Market loves to come back and fill gaps. So we're looking for this level in the gap, all right? And look, the red line, the 21, same thing. We call that confluence. And so this thing pulls back to fill the gap, confluence, and here's this long wick, right? Wick, and then the wick comes back up, right? And now I'm looking for this thing now that's filled the gap and found the 21 support to kind of start to make its way kind of back up to here, right? And so this is kind of, I've introduced this to you. I've never taught it to you, but kind of classic Wyckoff, price, right? Like 1, and then 2, and then 3, and then go up for a 5 piece, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. That's White Claw. 3 back, 5 up, right? Oh, nice job, Lisa. Lisa bought Google today. Yeah, so this is where we see these things as what's it supposed to do? It's supposed to come back to the 21. It did. Beautiful. BEA beautiful, right? And hey, if it breaks this level back here at 304 or $300, cool, get out. But again, think about that. What's the risk? Either the risk, so the risk at 304, this area down to 300, what's the reward? Easily 4 to 1, 5 to 1. That's what we look for. I hope that's a helpful little lesson there for you. All right, let's go back to the questions, and then I'm going to get to your questions. All right, here's a question. How do you find or set the first target or stop price of the option as it is related to the stock price to sell? Good question. Well, I tend to look for the previous levels of support and resistance. So here in Google, right, this level right here, clearly this was a clear level of support right here at about 314. And so that would be the natural level of resistance. And look, on Friday, we pulled back to this level, pushed up to that level. That was a natural resistance. So if I'm buying down here at 304, I'm looking for it to go past this level, right? 309. And then ultimately the next level, 314. That's how I tend to target that, of where is the most natural levels of support and resistance that the chart has demonstrated. Good question. Can you also show how you have your trade orders ready and waiting to buy from the watch list when a trade hits the target over a price? Good question. Okay, I'll use an example today on Rivian. So we had a trade on Rivian today, 5-minute chart, right? And our level on Rivian from the watch list this morning, our level on Rivian, if you guys, saw the watch list, and I'm going to bring up a screenshot of the watch list just so everyone's on the same page. So in the morning, what we do is we make watch lists and we say, hey, what happened? Well, here's the scanner. And on, let me take this off, Nike. Let's go to Rivian. Let me change the date. What's the date? Okay. Let's go to Friday. So what do we have on Rivian? Oh, we had these beautiful Rivian calls. What were the calls in Rivian? They were the January 16th 20s. Oh, beautiful. Premium, Askish, odd lots, all the things. Gorgeous. So as always, we make a plan, because you got to have a plan. Gots to have a plan. And so we said in our watch list, and again, I'll show you the watch list if I can get a screenshot here. This was the watch list. Shout out my main man, Ethan, right? Put out the watch list this morning. I'll show it to you guys here. Give me a sec. Okay. So we said, look, we like Rivian over 1880, over, right? Now, that said, that's the plan, right? We want to see it over 1880. And this is why. This is why we look at it. Okay, cool. You got it. Now, where is 1880, right? 1880 is right here, like this level right here. And look, kind of, and again, that's why I say not necessarily a level, but like an area. So let me draw this in. General. Right? And what we get? We got resistance as we expected, and then a break over 1880 and a comeback for a support level. I bought it on the pullback. Now there's two ways to do this, right? Two ways to do this. Number one, in your active trader, right? You can set an alert. I was trading Tesla. So if I'm waiting for a pullback, I can go like this. I can say 1 here. And when if I go to Tesla, like right here, let's go to Tesla, right here. If I go to Tesla and I'm waiting for a pullback, I can like set a level here of like, oh, okay, here. And if I put this in, generally, you see how it puts it up there in the chart? So you kind of have that general level. You can do that if you want. right? Or there's a way to go in here to the trade, and I'll show this to you guys just because, let's say I want to buy these, December 26, 440 calls, and I want to buy them back here at 465. You go in here to trade, you go to Tesla, and you say those, you say these, let's say these right here, and you want to buy more, you go to right click it, buy, single, brings this up, right? Let me put this. Okay, cool. Put this up. And then I would go to, I'd right click that, buy single, brings that up, bring it back to 10. Now I got to bring this higher because my face is blocking it. So let me do this for you guys, just so you can see how it's done. Lost it. Where's the bottom of this thing? I think I got it. There we go. Okay. Now you can see it. And then you go over here to this little gear icon. I'm doing this because I think it'd be helpful for you. A lot of guys learn how to do this. Left click the gear icon, and then it brings up this box. And let's say I want to buy this thing back at 465. Well, then I would say buy market, right? Make this good till cancel. And then if the symbol, the price is less than or equal to 465, right? And then click that to save, confirm and send. It'll bring this up, and it says, buy Tesla, December 26, 440 calls when Tesla's mark is at or below 460, right? So if I put this on, then it's just going to be waiting. It's an order that's sitting there and waiting for price to come in to that 465 level to buy it. And if I send that, then it's just sitting there waiting. And then once price comes down to that level, boom, picks it up. That's how you do it. Click send, and then it has that thing sitting there waiting for you. Okay, that's how you do it. Hope that's helpful. Put this down, put this over here. Yeah. Oh, look at me. I was looking at I was looking at the wrong day in Rivian. That was okay. That was Friday. Let's do the same thing today for this. And it was 1880, right? This was the mark, 1880, and it broke above. And then I was just waiting for the retest, right? We got the retest, didn't make a lower low, nothing wrong. Held, bang. But again, look at this right here, right? Finally broke that 1880 mark, came back down, tested for support, sideways, and then boom, took off and did his thing. All right, cool. Great. Back to the questions. Let's see if there's anything left. How you had that ready? Okay, cool. I've answered all the questions. We've got 25 or so minutes left. Time for me to stop sharing and go back and answer some of your questions. Like I said, I'm gonna have Becca pull out some of the ones that were asked that would be important to chat about. But now's the time. Let me see if I can dive in. Yep, you can get all those setups, and I did do a video to show you exactly how to set up in Thinkorswim. Ooh, Greg says, theta decay has been my nemesis. What's the best way to protect against that risk? If you're going to trade options that expire this week, theta decay is going to eat your lunch. So it better make a move and make it quick. If I'm in a trade that expires next Friday and it's not doing what I want it to do by the previous Friday, I'm out, because the theta decay over that weekend will kill you. All right. So if it's short dated chart, make sure it moves quick, it's moving quick, and it's going to do what you need it to do right then. Right. Other than that, I would say I don't like to hold it, because theta decay works on an arc like this. And then the closer you get, the faster it moves. All right. All right. A couple other questions. Let's see. Theta decay. Oh, nice job, Terry Williams. Love it. Damien says, I currently have Robinhood and they don't do OCO. Can you do OCO options in Thinkorswim? Absolutely, right? I have a couple OCO orders in right now. I almost always use OCO orders. When I'm in a certain trade, I'll go back to that trade I got in Nike, right? And I'll show you how I do the OCO orders in Thinkorswim. So here is Nike, right? And my next target in Nike. So I had the target at 254 and that hit, right? And so my next target right now in Nike is 294, right? And so here's what I'll do, right? Here's what I'll do. Give me a second. Where is this order sitting at? Okay. So here's how you do it. In Thinkorswim anyway. So I got 7 contracts of this left. Okay. So let's say I want to take off 3 on my next one at 294 for Nike. I go here, I make an OCO, right? And I'll go to 294 and I'll hit that. And then it'll bring up the bottom half here, right? And I will drop that down here to where, it either going to stop me out of break even or it's going to take me out of my next spot, right? That's how I do an OCO order. Good question. Okay. One cancels one. So either it takes me out for profit or it comes back and it stops me out break even. That's how you manage risk. I didn't share the screen. It's because I'm a doofus. My bad. Let me do that again so everyone can see it. That would be helpful, wouldn't it? Here we go. So yeah, here's Nike. And I make this my template, make this an OCO, go up here to 294, right? And then I will come back down here and I will set my stop to, right near break even. So it's either, and notice the link here, it's either going to take me out at 294 or stop me out break even. And I guess Tasty Trades does that as well. So solid. Okay. All right. What are the questions we got? How long did you trade until you became profitable? Gosh. I mean, I'll answer this question, but it's hard to answer the question in a way that makes sense because I was an investor for a long time before I was ever a trader. And so a lot of that knowledge carried over from me. And so I think I had a distinct advantage there. And I would say before I really got it as a trader, like the mindset of it, probably like concerted time, 9 months. That's how long it took me to like really get it. As I would define it as profitable. Because that was the big time. 9 months generally. Yeah. The questions are on the Google Doc. Did you put them at the top? If you're putting in more questions, I'm not seeing them, Becca. Here, let me check Slack and see if there's, nope. Becca, let's look at Becca. Check Google Doc maybe I need to update it. See if I do that. There they are. Okay. See, smart guy here. All right. Can you show us slowly how you zoom in on charts? Absolutely. Right. So you right click, go to manual, choose manual, left click and hold it like this. And that creates this box, and then let go. And that does it. So you got to right click, go to manual, left click that, and then left click and hold it, drag it over the area, and then let go. And that highlights it in. And then if you want to go back, I just go back to auto zoom, and there you go. Okay. Good question. Are there any Greek values that would cause you to exit your position regardless of how the chart looked? Yeah. I mean, not regardless of how the chart looked. If a chart looks like it's about ready to bust a move and the theta, which is the time decay, is incredibly high, I mean, I want to let the thing do its thing. But if there's like an incredibly high theta, like a theta that's like stupid high, I'll probably exit it, as the theta grows on short dated time frames, because I just don't want to get eat up by theta. That's about the only thing. Please describe the process of buying and selling a put. Okay, I can do that. Let's go to a daily chart here. And let's look up a name that is just in the trash bin, right? That has not done well. Let's look up like an Adobe, freaking Adobe here, right? So, and let's highlight in on this, okay? So I just want to highlight on this thing because it's really no different than buying a call, right? So let me walk you through this. I'm gonna give you a quiz to teach you. This is referred to as a what? This whole area right here is referred to as a what? An incredibly high theta is like, in the point set. I mean, it really just depends on the price. But if it's eating up like half of what it's worth in the time frame, I mean, that's a lot, right? Yeah, this is an uptrend. And what's the best places to buy an uptrend? Well, every stinking time it comes back to any of the moving averages, right? Like, look at this. I mean, these were the spots to buy the uptrend in this. Here, 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 here even. It didn't quite hit the 8, but it was close, okay? That's an uptrend, and you want to buy it, or consider buying it every time it comes back down to this. And then look, just like Google, this thing came back up, went sideways, pulled back to the what? What's that red line? 21 EMA. It's supposed to go back to the mean. And then once it held the mean, what did it do? It ran from 400 to 420 in 4 days. That is a heck of an options trade right there. So does it make sense to you? That would be buying calls, and you're buying them on pullback to moving averages to be able to manage your risk. And before I continue to show you about how to buy puts, does that make sense? Carl Miller is saying, what materials? Carl Miller, we can give you access to a free options boot camp. That's where I say you start. Okay. So if this makes sense, then the same is true to the downside. So my question to you is this: what is this? What would you classify this as? This area. That's a downtrend. And what was the best time to buy this downtrend? Every time it came back to the 8, back to the 8. Oh, look at this. Back to the 21. Come up here, right in the 21, 21. And then what do we get? Drop. Nasty, right? It never broke and closed above the 21. So if you're asking when to buy puts, right, my encouragement to you would be wait for price to come back to a moving average when you see a clear downtrend. Now, you identified the downtrend, so you can recognize that. Clear downtrend. And when it goes back to the 21, you buy the put, right? Believing that price is likely to come back to the mean, the 21, and then fall from there. And if you're wrong, then you could be wrong, right? You could be wrong. But notice this, it hits the 21 here. It tries again, never makes a higher high, which would indicate a potential change to an uptrend. And then your risk is this, and your reward is this, because it's in line with this, right? I'd naturally pay myself right there. But look, just kept on going. And your actual reward would have been all this. You see what I'm saying? Does that make sense in terms of how you can use the exact same methodology to trade puts as to trade calls? Same thing. Chris, I would say yes. If it's at 0, you can just let it expire worthless. Okay. Yeah, that's how I'd go about with puts. That's how I do it. All right. Let's see. I do not understand why we buy options under the current price. Under price examples, ONDS or S. Great question. Here's the short answer. All right, and I'll explain it to you. Let me bring up a visual so I can explain it to you. The short answer is price appreciation. Price appreciation. So, sorry for bringing up a chart here. Okay. All right. Here, let me use this one. Well, that stinks. That one is not big. Let me see if I can get a better one. All right, here's a chart. This is why we do it. Okay. So the question is, and I'll break it down for you guys. We're saying, hey, look, let's say we're buying an option, right? So for example, I'll give an example, great example today. We bought on the 5-minute chart, Nike. And remember, we bought the Nike. Come on. We bought the Nike $69 calls. So the trade was Nike December 19, $69 calls. Now, here's the thing. 69 price is all the way up here. Okay, it's all the way up here. Why in the world is the question, would we buy the $69 calls when the price, the stinking price of this thing is down here at $67.30? Here's why. This is how options move. Okay. So if this is the money, let's say that this level right here is 69. Let's say that this is the $69 level, right? This is the at the money level. They call it at the money, right? And this over here is out of the money. And this is in the money. Well, here's what I want to show you, okay? As price moves closer to being at the money, the value of the option grows, because this is how delta works. Down here, the delta is about, let's say, about 30 cents. Right? It's like a 0.3 delta. But here at the money, it's a 0.5 delta. So you see, for every dollar it comes closer to being in the money, the option price, so for like from 67 to 68, the options price might only move up 30 cents. But from 68 to 69, for every dollar it moves up, the options price moves up 40%. So if we take it just out of the money, we have a greater price appreciation in the options. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me? And the further it goes up here, this is like, for every dollar it moves up, this is like a 60 delta. And then up here, it's like a 70 delta. So think about that. You buy it down here, and for every dollar it moves up, Nike option is only moving up 30 cents. But if this thing can get in the money and push every dollar above that, the option you bought is going up 70 cents, which is way better. No, I'm sorry. You're right. I messed that one up. Let me do this. Let me tell you this. I messed that up. This is in the money. This is at the money. I'm using somebody else's chart. That's my problem. I keep doing it. I'm telling you, tired. When price is down here, if that's at the money at 69, then here, the $69 level. Come on. This is where, yeah, my eyes twitching because I didn't sleep last night. All right. This is, at this point, it's out of the money. And then once it crosses the money line at the money, it's then in the money. And it still goes up and appreciates in that way. All right. Good. Yeah. Thanks. Good call on that, Connie. Good question. Does that, you guys get that? Yeah. No, George, the theta decay is constant, but the theta decay, it decays less of it, right? As the price grows. The theta decay stays constant, but it decreases, takes away less of it because it's worth more. All right, let me clean that off. Great. All right, let me go back to the questions and see if I can keep rolling. We rolling. It's we got 5 minutes. All right, good. All right, Gibbs here. Gibbs, at what point do you recommend quitting your day job to have financial freedom trading the markets? Again, opinion. I would say once you know you're good, right? I mean, let's say you want to be a professional athlete. Okay. When would you quit your day job to go play pro? When someone's willing to pay you to do it, right? If you don't have a contract, why quit your day job? So what I would say to you is make sure you have savings, that you can rely on those savings, but also make sure you have a consistency of process and outcome. And you've done that for a while to where it's not this like jump. It's like, well, it doesn't actually make sense for me to stay at my job because my job is taking away time that I would otherwise trade and make more money doing that. That's it. All right. Let's see. What's the best plays for busy people who can't sit in front of a monitor all day, but can just check it periodically throughout the day? Seems like most plays are set up for day trading. Void Angel, great question. I just got off our service where we go through these trades. I'll give you an example. Here's a daily chart in FCX. And if you notice, here is this daily chart setup in FCX, and we call out these ideas and we say, hey, here's this downward trend line, here's this wedge, and here's all the things we're looking for. We are looking for, actually, I'm not going to show you this chart. I'm going to show you my other chart. Does a better job. Let's look at FCX. And so perfect. And in my service, predictive price fusion, we called this out, right? These green line and red line means that there's a compression of price and volatility. And the chart pattern here is kind of a classic stage 1 to stage 2, right? And we want to see that breakout. So what do we look for? We look for a crossover of the moving averages to indicate a trend, a change in trend. All right. And then we look for price appreciation. Now, look what happens here. Okay. Price goes up and it confirms, it breaks this level right here. Right. And we were looking at this downward trend line. You see this yellow line? Hey, here's the compression. If it breaks this level, we like it. So it broke it and then it ran up, came back down, confirmed, and then kept going. And so if you don't want to be a day trader, you can trade these setups on a daily chart and just say, hey, look, Here's how I'm going to set this up. If this thing breaks the downward trend line and I get in, let's say right here, then my risk is here, right? And I would just get out maybe right here, the 200 SMA. But if it does what it's supposed to do, according to our strategy, then this is FCX. This thing is likely to, bam, take off. And that's exactly what FCX did. I was in this. Ethan was in this. I hope a lot of you guys who trade with me got some real nice trading options in FCX. But again, this was a daily chart. This was not day trading. This was a longer term setup that took longer to wait for to work out. But boy, did it work out well. So that's an example. I think I got time for one more question. But this is fun, man. We got to do this again. All right. On YouTube. How do you tell between a peak to not buy versus a RCT? I'm not sure of that acronym. RCT. Tell me what that acronym is, Jonathan Coons, and I will answer your question. RCT. Red candle theory. Well, I mean, how do you tell between a peak not to buy versus a red candle theory? Again, here's how I would describe it. I gave this trade last week in Iris, one of the services I do, and this is on what was it on? TJX. So, Jonathan, was this a peak? Right? This was the so it was, let's see, today is 15th. That makes, this was the 8th. So looking at the 8th, right here, we ask, was this a peak? Right? This right here, a peak. So I would say that for me, how do I know this wasn't a peak? Well, because it broke it, right? It broke that level. And so again, I tell you guys, these areas are general. So what did I do? This was this area right here above this level, right? And so, you know, it broke it, generally kind of came back down to this kind of key cycle level of 155. And at the 155 level, key cycle level, I bought it and it held. So how did I know it wasn't a peak? Well, price showed that it offered support, and therefore that's it. Now, yeah. I mean, it's been pointed out that the RCT really only works on 5-minute candles. And sure, yeah, you can use that theory if that's your way. I understand it. I don't subscribe to it as much, but in general, I get it. All right. Literally one more question that I got to drive and get my son from his friend's house. He's out late. All right, one more question. Let me choose from these. The one more. Do you ever do Voy Angel? I just answered that. Do I have more leeway to trades that hit my stop out level depending on time of day? Alex, fantastic question. Yes. Yes. And here's how I'm going to answer that question. Okay. The first 30 minutes of the day is called the opening range. And a lot of funkiness happens in those 30 days, the opening range. And so oftentimes I let the opening range play out before I make a decision on if price has broken it. Now, does that mean sometimes I can't honor my stop exactly? Yes. But I generally like to let the first 30 minutes of the day play out before I decide, what's actually happening. So let's use a few examples of that here. 5-minute chart, right? And then I got to go. So let's look at let's look at a name here. Let's look at like an idea of, I don't know. Let's look at like Google example of this. No, I wouldn't say that. Let's say like Nike. Okay. Let's say I was in Nike. Notice this. Here is the first half hour of the day. What happened in the first half hour of the day in Nike? Well, from the day before, right, you had these trades, and in the first half hour, what happened? Got funky. It dropped. And so if I was in a trade long-term in Nike and it dropped in the first half hour a day and I was like, crap, I'm out. And then bam, once that clearing range ended, first half hour bounced like a savage and then made a high a day. And so that's why I try, like it's the first half hour a day, I tend to give more leeway. That's a great question. Okay. Friends, that's what I got. I would love to stay longer, except my wife is not feeling well. She can't go get my son. I got to go get my son. Let me ask you this question. Was this fun? Was this enjoyable? Did you learn something? Did you gain something? Was value provided? Right? Because that's what I'm trying to do, man. I'm trying to help. Anywhere I can, anybody I can. Help was given to me. I want to give it to others. And I've got like 4 services and I'm helping 2 others. And so like, how do we create a place where you can ask me anything? We all come to the same spot and do it together. And so, hey, this is how we did it. Now, people are saying like George, hey, how do we join your group? I will let Becca drop in links if that's what you guys want to do. And I'll make sure that you guys have that ability. Or hey, if you are interested in trading with us daily, right? We got variety of services, and we can make sure you guys get the links to join those if that's what you want to do. But hey, I hope folks that are in my services would tell you we have a lot of fun. We try to stay very disciplined to our process and planning and executing the game plan for all our trades. Not everything works out, but we always look at it and review and try and grow and get better each and every day. Living, not just trading, living up and to the right. Okay. Appreciate you guys. I'm going to sign off, end the stream, but I'll have Becca capture anybody that's interested. Just say, I'm interested in, getting more info, and we'll make sure to reach out to you, and we will send you a link, or we'll figure it out. So stay tuned. I'll do this, something similar to this again in a couple weeks, probably. Will I? No, I think I'll be skiing with my son. But we will do it again here soon. If not, in a couple weeks, definitely beginning of the year. So, all right, friends, last thing I'll say to you, I'm trying to put out content on social media to encourage you and help you. So I think Becca will drop the links to all my socials, and trying to make videos, and just, I want to be an encourager. I want to be a light. I'm going to get a lot of hate and all the trolls on social media, but that's okay. I'm going to bless them. Hope to bless others. Blessed to be a blessing. That's what it's all about. All right, I'm out of here. Be good. And hey, if you can, be good to somebody else. A lot of need in the world. You can do a lot of good. Got to have the eyes to see it and the heart to help. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you soon.